Hey guys, we're here at Amazing Las Vegas Comic Con 2015. If you followed along with us in the past, you know we're big fans of the amazing shows. They really focus on the architects of pop culture, meaning kind of capturing the zeitgeist, the things that are most popular in that geek comic world, and bringing them to the show at the root level of who really created these things. So you've got George Perez, you've got Steve McNiven, Mark Bagley, Rob Liefeld, a ton of great guests this weekend. What we're going to do, we're going to take you into the floor. It's really a great meshing in there. So you've got all these great creators, some fun booths with some really unique items, as well as all the fun toys, clothing, things like that. At the same time, though, you've got tons of comics, lots of fun bin diving if you want to search for bargains, or at the same time, go for those big wall books. So we're going to take you around the floor, show you a little bit of all of that and what we love about Amazing, and then we're going to take you into the panel room. Really great setup of panels this year, I'd say above any of the years, and we've always loved the panels. But you've got Liefeld, you've got McNiven, you've got Soule, you've got Bagley, you've got Kevin Eastman, creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, John Barrowman, a big-time media guest that they've brought out for this, still keeping comics at the core, but kind of expanding out and bringing, for many people, including us, some of our favorite comic portrayals on the screen, with him playing Malcolm Merlin in Arrow. So we're going to take you from there into the panel room, wrap up from there, and then we'll come back with Under the Con. Everything we show you in the panel room, though, we also have full videos coming up on our YouTube channel, so if you want to check out the expanded version, as well as a lot of fun snippets there. And then, as usual, we'll have our podcast that kind of wraps everything up. This Amazing Comic Con is our kind of one-year anniversary of our podcast, so if you've not checked it out, go over to iTunes or Stitcher and find Parks and Cons. We recorded our very first Parks and Cons podcast a little bit less than a year ago on this very floor, and we'll be recording, I believe it's our 87th, as we wrap things up here Sunday night. So let's go ahead and take a look around the floor.
Some other exciting news. If you visit the Quad Shot booth, they're signing people up for their evening raffle, and they're now. Also, Sci-Fi's Face Off is here at booth 411.
project coordinator for
Yeah, exactly.
This is right. This is a surprise.
Oh, yeah. Pleasure to meet you, All right, guys, have fun. Do your thing. I'll see you guys on Monday. Pleasure, guys. I'll see you.
She's knocked out, so we get water and splash out. Thank you, Jimmy. Nice to meet you.
We're gonna be in South Street. And I'm gonna have
I don't know how to check it. And I'm here with this character.
You get into advanced stuff. I see people use, there's a texture, usually one side of foam, and then there's like a no texture on the other side of the foam. And I've seen people, this is a friend of mine's actually over there in Arizona, you use that texture, it looks kind of Kevlar. This is Mass Effect armor, and so it's perfect. It's perfect for using the texture on one side and then flipping it in other places to get a nice smooth texture kind of thing. So LED lighting, that's a whole another realm we won't get to really talk about today. But that's actually pretty easy stuff. Little thought on LED lighting. Go to Walmart or one of your box stores or whatever, right at the end of Christmas season, and get those little teeny the little LED lights on the string that come with the little controller. They'll let you go flash or let you go to single. You know, I mean, not constant. Cheap because it's at the end of the season, and you don't have to make your own board. So lots of cool stuff. Again, LEDs are a whole other thing, so I won't get into those. All right, so next slide.
Hey, are you running upstairs right now? I'm so sorry, I don't know your name.
I'm Denise.
Denise is a volunteer,
Oh.
and Holly said she needed more volunteer shirts. Didn't we give all the volunteer shirts to them already?
I don't know where the
We will find out right now.
if you can, we need to order more, so we're getting more of them in. Or a worst case scenario, if there's only like 1 or 2 or 3, we will bring it to you. You know, like amazing comic book shirt.
Nemesis was a lot of fun, really dark. Like really, you know, Mark, that was my first real foray into create your own stuff. And, you know, Mark and I had, you know, done Civil War and Old Man Logan at that point, so we, you know, really wanted to put together a create your own book. We talked back and forth, and Mark actually rewrote Nemesis like almost completely. Like send me a script, I would read it, I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to, you know, draw this, and he'd be like, wait, I got a better idea. And then, you know, the next day would come and it'd be like, maybe 5% of the last script would still be there, and then, you know, but completely changed over. And then I'd be like, oh, this is great. And I'd be like, wait, Kevin, you're better. And so, but eventually, you know, it settled down to Nemesis, and I started doing costume design and work like that. And it was actually Mark who was like, I've been known, I do pretty elaborate stuff. Like I like putting in detail, and I kept putting more and more detail into the costume stuff. Mark is like, it's not quite what I. And so he eventually was like, why don't we just make it completely white? Just like completely, and I'm like, okay, I'll give it a go.
That certainly makes it easier for you, right?
And so we put it together, and it worked really well. And so he, you know, gave me all the scripts, and I just started penciling it. It was a lot of fun. It was difficult, and I changed it around. It's scanned directly off my pencil, so there's no inks involved in that. And it's, but it was a hell of a lot of fun. It's fun doing create your own stuff because there is, you know, I mean, I don't really get a whole lot of editorial control. What I do like with editorial stuff, like really good editors help you. They have positive criticism that make you a better artist. So we still had an editor involved with that. But I've never really, you know, Nemesis is pretty dark and all of that, and usually a lot of people, that when they talk about create your own, they're like, well, I was free from the editorial constraints, you know, and I could go crazy. But honestly, like Old Man Logan is pretty visceral as well. There's a lot of nasty stuff going on in there, and I would draw all this stuff thinking, Marvel's going to tell me, nah, you can't draw that. You've gone too far. It never happened. So Nemesis was just sort of an extension of that, and a lot of fun. It really was. I had a really good time. So yeah, I'll definitely do some more stuff.
So a year ago, when I was here, because I got to tell you, it's been an awesome year. You know, for 6 years, it's right there. Let's just talk about it. It's coming out on Valentine's Day. That's where you're all taking your dates, right? So that's why I already told my wife we'll be seeing it a 6th time on Valentine's Day. So the thing is, last year when I was here, and for 6 years, the creative team was trying to get a Deadpool movie going. And there's been an X-Force movie and a New Mutants movie, and Fox was in the, you know, process of deciding what was going to go forward. And so we were here last year, we were talking about all the potential and all the hype, and I mean, it was awesome. I mean, I never stopped believing. And you know, the director of Deadpool, Tim Miller, has been very gracious to me, and he said, you know, Rob, you almost stopped believing there at the end. And I said, yeah, it's true, buddy. Last fall, true story, I'm in my loft, we have a loft at the house, and a couple days prior, there was a Deadpool announcement on Twitter, and it was fake, it had been debunked. And my kids are very internet savvy, and my oldest son, who's 14 years old, yelled up to me. So this is a couple days after the fake announcement. And he says, Dad, they're making the Deadpool movie. And I was really like, I looked over the couch in the loft and I said, son, no, that's not happening. I said, don't get excited, that's not true. That's not happening. Because everyone was waiting, they were waiting to hear. I mean, these things, when they happen, they happen. It had happened like 24 hours prior that they gave it the green light. But my son said, no, Dad, it's happening. And I said, son, I hate to break this to you, buddy, it's not happening. We still got a ways to go, and you know, it's really getting down to the wire. And he runs up and he shoved his phone in my face. Dad, it's on the 20th Century Fox Twitter feed. They're making Deadpool. And I think I jumped, and then I think I cried, and then I jumped, and then I cried, and my buddy Marat, who's in the room there, he was actually there, and he got excited too. Murat Michaels over in Artist Alley, and he said, dude, I'm so happy for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. The guys that I was happiest for are the 2 screenwriters who wrote this screenplay in 2010. So when it comes out in 2016, that'll be 6 years. And I gotta be honest, everything that made the script so unique is still there, it's still intact. It wasn't, you know, one of these stories where they changed it around. They really fought down to the R rating. When I first read the Deadpool, and I'm sorry kids, I have kids too, and my daughter's not seeing it. You know, I've had a lot of, in all my different convention appearances this year, a lot of dads have come up to me and said, well, this is going to be Little Billy's first R-rated movie. And I'm like, okay. Little Billy's going to have a little education at the Cineplex. But now, I mean, in Jurassic Park, I mean, or these PG-13 movies, they're throwing around F-bombs and cursing, so I think the standards have gone crazy. But Deadpool's pretty hardcore, it's pretty awesome. When I first read it, I thought this is a Quentin Tarantino. This is the voice of Quentin Tarantino on a comic book movie, which is perfect because Deadpool is more crime-oriented, action-oriented, obviously, and Tarantino has got a great sense of humor. So, I just, you know, can't believe that that's the movie they shot. They wrapped about a month ago, and they're in post-production, and will probably be in post for, you know, through the fall, and then I can't, you know, come January, come the new year, you know, I think Star Wars will probably rule the box office for probably 6 weeks, right? I mean, it'll be a long time. And then maybe Deadpool can come in and knock it off like in week 7 or 8, whenever that's going to be. But, you know, so it's going to be a fun year.
To these types of show, I like to do a little slideshow. I like to show you a little history of the Turtles, tell you a few anecdotes of stuff that you might not know about, some you might know about. And then I think we have time, we'll take some questions at the end. But you guys know this cover? 31 years ago, do you believe that? 31 years ago. Let me adjust my Depends and we'll talk more about it. Man, I can't believe 31 years ago we started this crazy journey. And I always like to say that it's all your fault. You. Thank you for being such great fans. And the Turtles wouldn't be the Turtles. I wouldn't have such an awesome job that I have without you guys. So, thank you. Let me show you some history.
I had a quick, somebody called me, and I won't say who it was, and in a panicky voice said, I don't know how to tell a story, and I have a writer that is demanding me to tell a story. Can you give me a hand? And this was an experienced artist. And I didn't get angry or laugh or anything. I just thought it was so ironic that a person who's been in the business for that many years had trouble telling a story. And I thought that's what we're supposed to do right off the bat. And then the artwork is icing on the cake. But this guy is... That's a good point. I had a good mentor. I did. But
See, the thing is, you know, the generation of artists that GR and I come from is a school of where, you know, we were given a guideline, a blueprint for the story, but it really was up to the artist to direct it, pace it, and illustrate that story and bring it to life. And what has happened, you know, in the years as they've passed is writers have pretty much taken control of all of that, or attempted to. Right, JR and I certainly reject that kind of approach because it's a waste of our training of what we're able to do. But these days, a lot of writers and they give artists even the number of panels on page. They tell them even the contents of the page, where to put the camera. And so what has happened is a lot of these newer guys, they don't have the same muscles, you know, that we developed very early on. And so that's how you get to a guy like John's talking about, where you go, I don't know how to do this thing. And it's vital that we know how to do this thing. And I'll tell you why. Is what we do is visual, all right? And so what goes on that paper, we know what works, what doesn't work. A writer, he doesn't have the hours in the trenches that we have. So what might seem good in his head when he's writing it might not actually be good in the physical world on that paper. So yeah, it's a generational thing. And
we were fortunate enough to start off when plots were given to us, synopsis, and then we pasted out the story, thumbnailed it, so to speak, and then the writer would fill dialogue in according to the artwork.
Las Vegas, here we are, yes. It's not that far, well, it's a 4-hour drive. 3 hour? What was it, Scott? We did it in 4 hours. We left Palm Springs and there was the fire in the San Bernardino Mountains, so it was becoming very cloudy and dark over Palm Springs, and we thought we're, heading to Vegas, it would be much better, but we had to drive up through the mountain. We didn't go the freeway, which was good, because what is it, East EDC. Oh. We drove by one car, it was 2 girls in it. They were wearing like multicolored stuff. There was a huge big penis inside the car. Scott and I were like, yeah! It was awesome. But we were driving and we missed the traffic through the Cajon Pass, which is not a testicle roadway. Cajones Pass, get it? I knew you would, sweetheart. So we're driving and we come into up the freeway a bit, and then there's like massive traffic, and Scott says on the sat nav there's a road that goes off and parallels the freeway. So he said, well, let's just take that. So we did, and we paralleled the freeway for about 10-15 miles, and then it said road closed. Not for me, it wasn't. We drove off-road, went around the signs, and another guy in another SUV was following us, and we drove another 10 miles on the road that was closed, okay? Which was fine. Then there was another big sign that said road closed, bridge out. So I took a little veer to the left, which then said military base, do not enter. I've been in a lot of military, so to speak, Captain Jack. So we pulled off, but the guy behind us kept going straight, and he went down the other way to avoid. We did off-roading on roads that said were closed, where no one was doing any work, so we could have used them, right? If you have an SUV, just drive down past the bridge. We beat all the traffic by about, what, 30 minutes? Yeah, look, I'm asking him for, I wasn't even paying attention. I was driving, I'm like that. This is awesome! But we did. It was awesome. It was great to go off-roading. I'll shut up now. And you can...
All right, hope you enjoyed that look around amazing Las Vegas convention. Get a feel for kind of some of the fun that was there. I mean, we're packing a lot into a very small video here, and we always are when we cover these conventions, but hopefully that gave you a good idea of some of the fun things that were there. We're going to talk a little bit more about it here. This is where we go under the con. If this is the first time you're watching one of our videos, this is where we go under the hood of the convention and kind of talk about what we saw, some of our observations, and kind of what made it tick. Interestingly for us, amazing conventions, or amazing comic conventions, this is where we started our YouTube channel. So the very first time we went under the con, it was in the parking structure across from Phoenix Convention Center at Amazing, Arizona. So it's interesting, you know, a couple years later, our YouTube channel's grown quite a bit, but Amazing has grown a lot as well, with shows in now Oklahoma and Hawaii and Houston added to Vegas and Arizona. It's been fun to be there, watching them grow, seeing all the things that we've presented to you in this video. You know, Vegas is a really special location. What they've done here working with South Point Casino has been really cool. It's a great casino, great hotel. If you've never been, highly suggest checking it out, even aside from conventions. But I really can't think of a better spot to host a fully kind of experience, an immersive experience where you don't have to, you know, you can park the car, don't have to ever leave. Movie theater, bowling alley, obviously tons of gaming. I think there's something like 10 restaurants or, you know, fast food places in here. Lots of to do. We came out, and last year we hit up the movies. We definitely did a lot more gambling, I'd say, than we did this time. And part of it was just there was so much going on that just was kind of sucking our energy and bringing us into the show, which is a good thing. We spent so much time on the convention floor, so much time in the panel rooms, and so much time just appreciating what Amazing Las Vegas was here in 2015. So it's been a good show. We've enjoyed it. If you go back and watch our 2014, 2013 videos, you'll hear us beam about how much fun we had and how much we liked it. But I gotta say, this really kind of took it up a whole nother notch for us, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we look at some of the things we picked up and kind of how it fits with what we saw at the show and what we kind of observed. So first off, we always talk toys, because being big toy collectors, there wasn't much in this way of vintage collecting this time around. I mean, there was a few. Rogue Toys was there and stuff, but all of them a bit too pricey for us. You know, wasn't any great deals to be had there, but Mighty Pins was there, as you've heard us talk about before. Always our favorite new toy vendor. They always have great deals, great selection, a bunch of stuff we need, so we kind of break it up and stop by once a day, usually when they're at a con, and try and pick up little things there. In addition, kind of linking to the toys, it was a pleasant surprise at the UBU booth, which we'll talk a little bit about in a second, but they also had some toys there. Realmcast, our friend George over there at the Realmcast, has kind of his own little business going with, these minifigures, which are, we've talked about with Stockton Con, a couple other cons. These have become kind of all the rage in the, Lego community. They are not necessarily always as easily found at a good price at the conventions. We see them with staggered pricing. He had them all for $4 a pop, which is a really great deal. So we picked up a few there. We're going to be keeping an eye out for him at Frankenson. He's going to be going down there once a month. And also he's got some figures there at Twisted Comics. So if you've followed along with any of our Frankenson coverage, definitely suggest checking that out. And they're right down the way from the UBU booth at Frankenson, which also picked up a lanyard there. They had a ton of great hats. I think they said they had over 30 different hats there. They had a bunch of shirts and things like that. It was nice to see them with a big presence. They, along with a couple of vendors that were doing the $10 kind of, knockoff shirts there, UBU had their high quality stuff, and then Superhero Stuff had their high quality stuff. So you had some nice booths with selections for hats, clothes, things like that. We picked up a couple shirts and a hat over at Superhero Stuff as well, to kind of pick up back where we left off with Phoenix, picking up a few things from them too. There was also some just, handmade stuff. We've talked about some of the vendors we've seen at Amazing Arizona and Amazing Las Vegas past that there's a lot of crafty people somehow that they're able to tap into. And I think we saw a good deal of that at Phoenix as well last month, but picked up this Star Wars bracelet made out of comic books there, but they had a ton of stuff there. You can check our social media and some of our other videos I think we did of their booth and stuff, but some fun things there. There was just a lot of booths like that had handmade necklaces, Lego rings, earrings, all sorts of stuff like that. Obviously, we can't talk about an amazing show without talking comics, and that's where we'll kind of take this home, is a real focus on the comics. So picked up some of their variant covers, which it's always neat that Amazing goes that extra mile to have those deals with DC to be able to put those together. So love the look of those, and those are always a great souvenir. If you're ever at a con that has a variant cover, always highly suggest picking one up because they really make good keepsakes from the con long after the show. There was a decent number of 50-cent dollar bins, things like that. So we picked up some, newer books that we were either missing, or in some cases, sometimes in the case of things like this, we already have them, but if we see them for 50 cents or $1 even, sometimes we'll just pick them up, kind of hedging our bet. We've been doing that with Southern Bastards, just got announced that that's getting a TV show. So ka-ching, we can, have some extra issues to sell for a higher price down the line. If you look at what's happened with Suicide Squad or Teen Titans, the way those prices have rocketed, it's always a good move if you have an extra $2-3. So, we invested a couple bucks here, and hopefully that'll turn into $10-20 down the line. Some classic, or I should say older comics, picking up some $1, $5, in this case, $8 books, just some older stuff. This probably is the most expensive comic we've ever bought, and so another first for us at an Amazing show. This was $60, Avengers #5. So we buy a lot of comics, but we don't buy many, and same with toys. We don't buy much that's over $20, so that's kind of like our price limit in most cases, but that was a great deal. It's high quality for the price. And there was a lot of opportunities like that, a ton of wall books, ton of good bins, whether you're looking for newer stuff, older stuff, trades, a lot of 50% off trades, a good selection there. So you could really get whatever you wanted in that way. But more important than even the comics is just the creators that create those comics. And so one thing with the focus on comic creators at Amazing that was interesting this year is they kind of took a step, and they've had different media guests in the past, but they really kind of stepped up another level this year with John Barrowman being there. And Barrowman is a huge draw. If you've ever seen him at a signing, photo ops, definitely panel. He is just a bundle of crazy energy, and he brings that to the con floor, and they have that all week in there, and so that was kind of a neat thing to see. We've gotten his autograph a couple times. We didn't need that, but we sat in on the panel. Great stuff. You can check out the full panel on our YouTube channel. We'll also be doing some podcast stuff with that. Also, Chad Rook from The Flash, he plays the original Weather Wizard, was there. So we just added his signature to our Flash. But it was neat to be able to come out to Amazing. This is usually the type of thing that we're getting signed at a WonderCon or place like that. That's where most of our signatures on this are from, is WonderCon. But able to come out to Amazing and see one of those Flash rogues here was great. Now, getting specifically to the creators, though, we had to stop by and see George Perez. I think in so many ways he's one of the most valuable players at any convention he's at. He's such a star, such a legend, but such a hard worker. I mean, as we closed out the con, it's about a half hour since the doors closed at the con, he still had a line and was still drawing. I don't know what was going to happen to those last 20 people there, but he had a line all day long, and he just drew, and that was all 3 days. And he has a great attitude. And I heard him as we were, it's like 5 o'clock, and somebody's like, "Oh, I hope you can, sign these books." Like, no problem, I'm not going anywhere. He just is such a valuable part of a convention. He brings a great energy. Love what he does. I wish every artist did this that had any sort of line. He does a ticket system. We talked about this last year. We did it. We got Black Bolt, Thanos, a Taskmaster for a friend, LA Rabbit. All from him. But what he does is a ticket system. In the morning, you go straight to the booth, pick up your ticket. You can wait in line if you want, or you can just come back like a fast pass later in the day. And so we, did a bunch of other things, and 4 hours later, we walked up with our ticket, I think it was 317, asked where they were at with the tickets. They said, "Oh, we're at 310. Or something along those lines, or I guess the opposite, whatever. Long story short, we got to walk right up, get the whole sketch done in like 5 minutes, in, out, and obviously we picked up a Wonder Woman, as he is an iconic Wonder Woman artist, and we thought that'd be a great way to kind of spend some time with George Perez. Also there's Steve McNiven. Really did not think it was going to be as easy as it was to get a hold of McNiven, but we got this great print. It's number 5 of 100 that he did. Love that. Got him to sign Civil War, some Guardians books. We also stopped by and saw Mark Bagley, got him to sign some books, and finally got to see Rob Liefeld, and that was a great pleasure. I mean, we've seen him at panels. We've been in his presence many times, but we've never battled the crazy lines, and we were able to get to him this year, and that was a lot of fun being able to talk to him too. All of them really super nice. Mark Bagley was a little bit standoffish in general, but he was fine too. But Perez, McNiven, and Liefeld, they really made the weekend for us. And I mean, we got McNiven on that first night in, and I was like, you know what? Everything else is icing on the cake, because McNiven and Bagley are not people we see at other conventions. Liefeld and Perez are not people we see at other conventions outside of Amazing anymore. Maybe San Diego, and going to Capullo, which we did need. We've gotten him to sign a few things in the past, but again, he's almost like an Amazing exclusive. So Amazing Comic Con's done a really good job of getting this stable of talent. And they bring a great energy. I think, the organizers, Jimmy J, Bill, the whole entire team really put together an atmosphere where the creators are very happy about the setup, the vendors, exhibitors, and as a result, they treat us as attendees really well. And so it's just a super positive vibe all weekend long. Every vendor, attendee, creator we talked to, they all seemed happy. And we asked some of them, like, how are you doing in sales, this and that? They all seemed to have a relatively good or a super good weekend. And all of them seemed to kind of pledge that they'll be back. I didn't come across anyone on any of those levels that we talked to that didn't say that they would want to come back to an Amazing show. And obviously Vegas in particular. Just want to talk to the panels. You saw some snippets of those in here, but I mean, to be able to go to a Jim Shooter panel, a Capullo Romita panel, a Barrowman panel, Architects of Pop Culture panel with McNiven and Soule and Bagley. Those are really unique things. We're not panel people. And we spent 5 straight hours in panels on Saturday because it was so good. And we kept for me, I kind of get a little fidgety when I'm in a panel room. I'm like, I got to get back to the floor. And it kept being like, should we go to the floor? Well, this was a really good panel. Let's stay and see Kevin Eastman. Oh, should we go to the floor? Oh, this is going to be a really good panel. Let's stay and see Liefeld. And it kept being that type of a setup. And the panels looked really packed the entire time through. They stacked them in the back. It's really nice. They allow people to stand off to the sides in the back if all the chairs are taken up. I wish every convention did that. If every convention would let people just stack in there and stand off to the sides or sit on the floor if they need to, my life would be way better and I'd see a whole lot more panels, because I have no problem sitting on the floor in the corner, just want to be in the room sometimes, So anyway, that was a great thing. They're very organized in getting people in the rooms. Now, they clear panels, which is a unique thing. D23 does it, Celebration does it, a few other panels do it. I'm a big fan of that. I know not everybody is, but I like that, and they did that here, and that was fun as well. So had a great time. it just went by way too fast. I love that they have the full 3 days. I mean, Friday's 3 to 8, so it's not a full day, but it's nice to come in, get a good 5 hours in, and then you got your Saturday and Sunday. Sunday 10 to 6. I love that. It's not an 11 to 5 like we see sometimes. 10 to 6, you're just getting a meaty day, and it's good prices. Good price. We saw a lot of families here. They did some Groupon deals to bring a bunch of families in, Dad's Father's Day, things like that. And so it was a really good, successful show. Super excited about Amazing Las Vegas 2016. Before that, though, if it's in your territory, check out. They've got Oklahoma, they've got Houston, they've got Hawaii. That's going to be phenomenal. I think that's going to be a huge hit. I think they're going to continue to find that niche in pop culture where we've got the movies, we've got the TV, we've got all this exploding media, but at the same time, the Amazing Comic Con team are really good at bringing our attention back to where this all comes, where are the roots of the story. So yeah, next year we're going to see Civil War, Captain America 3 on the big screen. But how special was it for those people that chose to take the time to see Steve McNiven this weekend and get their Civil War book signed, or maybe be introduced to Civil War? Met a lot of people at this con, or I should say came across a lot of people at this con that had never bought a comic before. I thought it was a really cool thing down the way from the Mighty Pins and the UBU booth. One of the vendors there, I wish I remember the booth name, but there was a girl there, a cosplayer. She knew nothing about comics. He was teaching her how to go through the comic bin and talking to her about how to look at the year and the price and the shape and the condition. And it was awesome. He took the time to teach her. And I wish all vendors did that. Sometimes there's a lot of gatekeepers when it comes to comics in particular. But he took the time. Her comment was, I didn't know comics were this old. And as she's looking through these, 60s Flash issues and stuff, and she bought a bunch of books from him. And hopefully she'll become a fan and spread that goodwill. And we can bring more and more people from the movie theaters and in front of their TV screens down to the convention floor, into the comic bins to really appreciate where these stories come from. And I think Amazing does an amazing job at that, of bringing the people from those places in pop culture that are so popular, obviously, and bringing them into where it all begins and really focusing in on those architects of pop culture. So kudos to the Amazing team. Love the show. Can't wait to get back. Wish there was a way to, have a second Vegas show coming up in 6 months or something like that, but we'll definitely be back in 2016. We'll be counting down the days on our countdown clock. So we're going to wrap up here. You can check out more talk. We've been recording throughout the weekend on our podcast, so you can go over to iTunes or Stitcher, just find Parks and Cons there. Obviously, we got a lot of social media stuff going, so if you followed along with some Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, there's a lot of stuff there. You can search the archives there, and then obviously on the website, our gallery and all of that is being put together as we're going to wrap things up here in Las Vegas. So next up for us is Anime Expo, and then San Diego Comic-Con a few short days after that, so it's going to be a busy run the next few months. So we'll wrap up here, and until next time, we'll see you in line somewhere.